What's up, guys? Welcome back to another beautiful week of interviews. Well, interview. I'm not going to drop two this week, but I got the one and only. Oh, man, listen. I've been waiting so long to do this, man, right here, because it's like, I know I didn't introduce him yet, but when I first started doing motivational stuff and uplifting, just skits and stuff like that, this man right here would give me legit enlightenment on not being afraid to speak your mind. Like, he brings words together that you don't expect it to be together and makes it sound so good, you know, and it's not just hearing it, like you're learning stuff from it. And so that introduced me to enlightenment, like a crazy enlightenment, you know. But dude, the educator, the poet, the socialite, bro, listen, Mr. Enlightenment.
What's going on? What's going on with you?
Dude, how you been, bro?
Man, I'm taking it easy. This is the best time of the year for me.
Yeah.
Shout out to all the teachers on summer break, man. I'm just chilling.
Dude, I was going to say, before we even start, like, what's something that you've been looking forward to this summer?
Actually, because my schedule, I look forward to being able to do open mics during the week, because I really can't do it because I got to get up super early. Like, I got to be to work at like 6:45. So
yeah, I felt that.
I can't really go to an open mic, especially I'm getting older now, I need more sleep. But especially Charleston is not the biggest poetry scene. Yeah. So I've been networking with poets in other cities, other states, and definitely trying to like tap in with some of them.
Which you have
making
to,
a little
you know?
trip during the week or trip on the weekend.
Because I feel like on your end, I feel with your energy, I don't feel like it's being the biggest. You just want to spread more enlightenment to people. You want to spread that energy to more people. Because yes, you can be, you know, the best and the biggest, but poetry, I feel like isn't that type of field to be like, I'm the most richest poet. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Nah, it's not
It's
about
a different type of energy, and I feel like that's something that I feel like Charleston lacks. Like, we don't have that type of vibe here. And so, I don't know, you would like probably go out to like Chicago and New York, and you'd be killing it out there. Like, you'd be, you know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of crazy how
I've gotten to the lane now. It's like, why not?
Yeah.
If you can get paid off something you love to do, why not? I'm not saying money is the
Yeah,
number one
course,
thing,
but
why not make money off something I was doing anyway?
You look at like the stigma of like rapping and stuff, and it's like they have to have the most money, the biggest car, the you know what I mean? And I feel like with poetry is different. I think that's why Charleston isn't big, or it's not big in Charleston, because Charleston's known for that. Like, I feel like that's what it is. It's a retirement state. You know, like, it's not there, you know. So before we dig into that, because I did kind of let it linger a little bit, you know, I wanted to dig about more into it. But where are you from? Where were you born, and where were you raised?
I grew up in Walterboro, South Carolina, probably like 45 minutes away, down 95.
Was it like, you know, because back then it's still a little bit, you know, what, country-ish now?
Oh, it's definitely. Yeah,
but back then I feel like it was way more country.
Oh, it's better now. So, to grow up in Walterboro now is better than when I grew up, but it's still not the same. Like, you still got to ride a good while to, you know, I didn't grow up in the city limits, so riding to the store was an adventure. Going to the grocery store, it wasn't like a quick trip.
What's something that like stuck out the most, like being raised in Walterboro? Like, what is something that like carry on today? You know what I mean?
Man, it's just small town, which is good and bad that people knew each other. So it's like that community growing up. If you did something wrong in somebody else's house, they were gonna check you, or they knew your parent, or they could let you know, or your parent might have known to somebody that was at the school. So it was a small town where everybody kind of look out for each other. Right. So that's a cool thing. And big sports place. You know, in a small town, you don't have a lot of options when you're growing up. So sports was big for all the kids. So I played football growing up.
Wow, what
baseball,
position?
Offensive line, defensive line.
Dang. Did you actually, like, when you were doing it, because, you know, some kids get, I wouldn't say forced, but they just get, like, put in this position to have to play sports at that age. Did you actually enjoy it, or
man,
did you?
I couldn't wait to play, man.
Yeah.
I was like,
you were hungry.
Just in the yard, throwing the ball around, and just to the age where you can go and be on a team, like organized. You know, I played in the backyard with my cousin growing up. It was just like me and him throwing the ball back and forth, or I'll hit the ball, and we got to be our own outfield. But,
so what was, like, other than sports and stuff, what were you kind of doing in your, like, upbringing? Like, not elementary school, but kind of like middle school. Like, what were you, like, focused on? I know you said you played football stuff, but was there something else? Like, for me,
I was a gamer. Like, I'm not a gamer now.
See what I mean?
Like, I'm a retired gamer, but
OG gamer.
Nintendo,
Yeah,
Sega Genesis,
OG gamer, yeah.
Super Nintendo. I had those, and
Did you play a KO? You remember that KO?
No,
the Afro Boxers. It was on Sega.
I played.
I
had it was a Vander Holyfield Real Deal boxing.
Yeah.
Of course, Mario Brothers, Sonic.
Right.
I was a big Mortal Kombat.
Did you like Zelda?
Not so much. I was Mario over Zelda for me.
Yeah, Zelda was kind of hard to get into, but I was gonna say like what middle school and like and you don't have to say elementary school, but like what middle school and did you go to and stuff.
So
for some people,
that's from Walterboro natives, I went to Forest Hills Elementary. Mm-hmm. We didn't have a lot, so it wasn't like we had a lot of different middles and high school, elementary schools. So it was a few elementary schools because Walterboro, Carleton County is the name of the area.
Okay.
So it's like not a big area for like population, but it's a wide area for land. So
was that like more like harder to grasp on coming to like Charleston and stuff like that, living in Walterboro?
I was ready for that change, though.
Yeah.
That's
Did it
what I'm
feel
saying.
weird though? Like, cause I feel like, and I don't want to bring up age, but I feel like your kind of time period was a little different than mine. So like, cause there was probably no phones, right? Like
cell phone.
You see what I mean? I'm trying to really dig into this. I don't want to like ask your age.
House phone for sure.
See what I mean? So like, what
you was doing
that?
If you had cordless though. If you had a cordless phone, or you could walk outside and talk.
Or pager.
Later, yeah. So I didn't. That was my sister's older than me, so she had a pager. I never had a pager, but
right.
Yeah, no cell phone.
Because I normally don't have people that come on here who are like, and I mean this respectfully, but just like in that older generation mindset. You know what I mean? A lot of them have been like 18, 19. So I'll be like, hey, you know what is it? AOL is.
Yeah, for
They'd
sure.
be like, what is that? And I'm like, bro, come on. You know,
that was before MySpace.
Word, like. Even MySpace people don't even you know. So no, after let's say middle school, like you kind of get introduced, because I could sit here and ask more questions about middle school, but it's kind of harder, you know what I mean, like to go back into the past like that. So I feel like high school is a more like rememberable age. What was like, I wouldn't say your first job, but what was like your first source of income in high school?
So my dad was a landscaper, so I had a built-in job on the summers and the weekends, like go cut grass with him.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm like anti-cutting grass.
Were you saving it? Were you like, and you don't have to talk about it, but like, were you like using it as a use, like making something out of it, or was it just something you just kind of gladly were spending?
It was like, I didn't have a choice whether I was doing it or not. I just happened. Luckily, I was able to get some pay out of it, just enough to buy a video game or go, buy a toy or something that your parent wouldn't want you to buy. Like you say, oh, buy it yourself. So I was making money every day with him or weekly, and then I was save up, buy a video game.
Were your parents like strict, or like what was your upbringing like?
So I grew up in kind of like my parents separated when I was younger. Mm-hmm. So another thing for me is like divorce doesn't ruin a childhood to me. So I know people that you come from my home wasn't broken per se, but it wasn't mom and dad under the same roof. Mm-hmm. But I was still exposed to both parents. Like I was spending time with both parents.
Trauma.
My childhood was pretty smooth, man.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, I had to deal with tough love. Like my dad was super tough love. Yeah. But I feel like it was from a place of love, and it was I was able to thrive. Yeah. I had the support.
That's, something I never, and mom, I doubt they're watching this, but my mom and dad, if you're watching, I'm sorry. I never got to see, because my type of divorce was different. Like I got taken away. I've seen some stuff I shouldn't have seen. So it's really like not cool to meet somebody else kind of like the opposite mindset, but just to be able to shape your future into a brighter way. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and I'm glad that my parents were able to be civil. Mm-hmm. So they didn't stay too long where I was seeing them argue all the time and seeing them like, we didn't have to pick a side. Mm-hmm. They didn't talk down about each other around us. So that was good. So
good ones for you.
I had a positive opinion of both parents.
Yeah, that's good though. Yeah. What's something like advice you can give to any kid who's maybe not just experiencing that type of divorce thing, but just going through that like stage of with their
just
parents?
Understand like them not being together is not a bad thing, because it's probably better for you for them to be apart, because as a couple it wasn't positive. Mm-hmm. So basically they're not taking it out on you, if they're doing it right, when you're co-parenting, so that's the term now, a co-parenting situation. both parents, they realize we're probably better off as friends.
Mm-hmm.
We aren't good together. So that was the responsible thing to do. Like, let's split up, and we're still going to raise our kids.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not against you. Don't take it as something like they still love you. Both parents can love you. One thing is also like the parent that kind of enforces the rules, hopefully both of them do, but usually it's one parent that lets you get away with stuff more.
I feel like
so
it's
usually
not even...
you kind of hold it against the stricter parent.
Yeah.
But really they were probably the one that put you on the right path.
Right, or trying to at least show you the light.
As a kid, you think, oh, you're the mean one. You never let me do anything. Mm-hmm. And then the other one tries, hopefully not, but it usually like they'll say yes. Mm-hmm. So that's the one that you want to stay with.
Right.
But you want to spend more time with the one that might let you stay out later or might let you sleep in, not let you do
that's
the chores.
The thing, like growing up in the foster home care and all that, it's like some people take those moments for granted, man. Like I didn't really have that. I did in a way, but I didn't have all that. You know what I mean? Like I think a lot of times when they're going through the divorce stage in life and everything, they kind of feel like, oh, I hate this life. I wish I never got, I wish just like I would, it's like at least be mindful that it could always be worse. There's always somebody dreaming what the life you have, So I think that's like very important whenever you're going through divorces and stuff. And if you're watching this and you're going through that and you need any help or just like the leap of faith to the next life, I guess, to like make your life a little better, do not be afraid to reach out to Rise Elevate. That's what we're here to do, to teach you guys and show love to people. Because that's the only way we got to fix, or the only way to fix the world is with love, enlightening people and showing people. So,
what's the golden rule, man?
Yeah.
Treat people how you want to be treated.
Yeah, like literally.
Treat people how you want to be treated. Because I always put it in form of like students. Because they always like, you can dish it, but you can't take it.
Right.
So if the shoe is on the other foot, you got a problem with that person joking on you or not sharing with you, but you didn't share with them. So you got to put it in their perspective. Like, if it was the other situation, how would I feel? And if you always do that, then it'd be fine.
Yeah, right. And just being yourself and doing, I wouldn't say doing the impossible. I always try to do something I didn't do yesterday. That's something like my motto, waking up. Like, even if it's like making my bed, like if I didn't make my bed yesterday, I'm making it today. You know what I mean? Like, it has to be some type of trigger in your mindset where you try to be better than what you were yesterday. So anyways, I do want to ask though, like after high school, did you graduate and all that stuff?
Yeah, man. I went to a college upstate, Presbyterian College.
Wow,
it's in a small town. Actually, I grew up in a small town, went to a small town for college.
There's nothing wrong with that.
So it's like between Columbia and Greenville is this town called Clinton.
Right.
And I played football up there. So I
Same
was
position?
Mostly offensive line. Offensive line was pretty much my better of the two, but I played both. Offensive line is probably my best position. So I played left guard at Presbyterian College. I was a 3-year starter up there. Pretty good. I mean, D2 football. We're not playing against Carolina and Clemson, but so it kind of
felt like at one point in your life, like maybe, and like I said, I mean this respectfully, but you were going to become like an NFL player. You know,
I had that,
like, was that your intentions?
Yeah, I mean, as a young kid, I was pretty athletic. I'm a bigger guy, but pretty athletic. I was able pretty quick for my size, and I was pretty good at football, good enough for somebody to say, we want you to play at the next level. Yeah. So that was an accomplishment itself. But then I'm just not the tallest guy. You know, you look at an NFL roster, 6'3", 6'4",
7 and stuff. Yep.
I'm not fit the mold, which that don't mean you can't. There's people that don't fit the mold, but
look at Allen Iverson and like all these people.
But for my position, it's very rare that you can be super short. Basketball, you can get away with it. Baseball, you can get away with it if you're just very talented.
The offensive line, you need that.
Offensive line, you gotta. They want your wingspan's got to be a certain thing.
So were you like in the lane of doing any type of poetry or anything like during that time, or like when was the first big breakthrough? Okay,
hip hop is my introduction. I think I wanted to be a rapper. You know, everybody kind of had it. If you listen to rap long enough, you try to rap. Yeah. And then locker rooms, you just hanging out with friends.
What was your rap name?
I didn't have a rap name, but I did write raps over the years. But I didn't name myself as a
You
rapper.
just were doing it on the side,
Yeah,
like, just
yeah,
for
that's just
fun.
something I love to do. I listen to rap all the time. So, of course, you're going to be rapping along with your favorite rappers. Try to write, and sometimes in class, they'll let you, in a form of preparing some kind of assignment, your teacher might let you write a poem or write some kind of...
Yeah. That happens actually a lot more than people think.
I think a couple of times I was able to do that. Yeah. So I was like, cool, So that kind of led me into taking a college course.
Which one?
It was creative writing poetry.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I took a class.
And that was at the same college that
Yeah. So I took
was
a class.
it difficult, or like what was something that like you feel like was it too easy, or?
No, actually, man, just trying to write in a certain format. That was the tough part about me, because I'm not a traditional poet. Like, you got poets that are traditional, and we think poetry growing up is the stuff that you read in high school, college. It wasn't very interesting. It was more like Shakespeare and written in the 1700s, 1800s, stuff that you had to like translate it almost to understand it.
Yeah, hear the die.
Right, stuff like that. And you had to read the little footnotes to kind of understand what they're talking about.
I love that, though.
So,
key.
Trying to write that way was a little different, but I realized like you can't box poetry in. So I was able to follow the criteria of the professor, even though we didn't. It's almost like the professor had a style, because the professor was also a writer, a poet,
right?
And I feel like he wanted us to write like his style.
Yeah.
And that's not kind of...
You can't do that. Yeah. You can teach people stuff and kind of lead them to the water and see how they dabble into it, but you can't just like make someone follow like your blueprint.
Right. So I was like, that's kind of... But at the end of that class, we had to have a portfolio of poems.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like my first collection of poems started with that batch.
What was your favorite one that you kind of remember till this day?
I wrote a poem about... I was in my dorm room looking out the window and just kind of describing what I saw, and like the practice field was across the way, and then a car was riding by. So being just descriptive of the scenery, or just just like looking outside your window. I wrote, typical like football, like being in the stand. I had a poem called "In the Stands" where I wrote about just the perspective of a fan.
So you're just kind of like, when you make your poetry, you are just in the moment. Like, it's not just a particular time period that you're just like, I mean, there probably is, but there's, you know what I mean? Unless it like took over your life completely. Like, do you feel like it's taken over your life completely to where like you wake up and you have to write it down? Like me, I have to write my skits down every time I think about it. So
ideas hit you.
I
can kind of tackle it from different ways. I can talk about how I'm feeling. I can talk about things around me.
Right.
I can just be creative. Say something that really didn't happen to me personally, but, just like experience in life, relationships, we were just talking about off camera, the protest and political stuff. Like, I can just try to tap into those situations and put something together like that.
Yeah.
So,
no, that's impressive though, man. That's why I say a lot of people love your I wouldn't even say like your man, it's just your energy, like the vibes you bring. Ever since I first met him at the Montrose, or not even there, but just in general, like it just you've always provided good vibes, man, and you've always been respectful. And I feel like a lot of people don't say this enough or even give you the flowers, but bro, you're a goat, especially watching like the growth you've done in the last 2 years. Like I feel like you always have shows, you're always dropping pictures with your poetry on it, and it just like there's moments where like, and you probably get this a lot, but there's moments I get this a lot too. I'm trying to act like I don't do things, but there's moments where you see what you've done and then it's like I'm going through it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't even know it. Like, you're doing it to do it. But at the same time, there's, like, thousands of people that are going through what you're trying to, like, describe and how you write it. So, like, yeah. So, I do want to ask, though, like, do you have any up-and-coming shows? Or, like, what's, like, the next big thing for you?
So, I had a show in May. So, my format is the last 3 years, I've been having 2 shows. So spring and summer is kind of my time to.
I've noticed that. Yeah.
So fall is kind of hard because football is like dominating, and I'm kind of. It's almost like I don't want to have a show, and it seems like it's not a successful show.
Yeah.
So part of me is like, you know what? I need to have at least one more show per year. But the fall, I'm kind of like, because I know a lot of sports
hard.
fans. And people are like, oh, I can't come out.
Yeah.
Because this is a big game.
There's
it's almost like
2 you've had. I've been trying to come. Like you've had it at the Purple Buffalo, and then I think you had it at the distillery.
Hobcall Brewery.
Yeah, and I was trying to go because but it's like you see what I be doing. Like it's hard to like stop this and then go and then do it, And I think that's one thing that like maybe you feel this, and I had to stop feeling this is everybody's like going through life stuff, And if someone is willing to make time out to go, to your event and stuff, you should really show them the most utter respect and.
Oh yeah.
And that's something I had to
because so much stuff going on in Charleston.
Yeah.
I just realized like I cannot accommodate everybody's schedule because sometimes you book something you pay for a concert 6 months in advance. Like I usually try to book prepare for my show about a month in advance, 6 weeks. Look, I got a couple venues that I've been doing, trying to branch out.
Is that process kind of hard for you, or is it?
Yeah, like
because you're in Charleston. I know at the beginning you kind of said that it's
so poetry is tough because let's say you got a band.
Yeah,
I could still be having a conversation with my friends in the band. I'm still vibing to the music from the band. Yeah. I don't have to give the band my undivided attention. So that's the hard part with poetry. You can't really have a side conversation during a poetry show because the poet's could be distracted. You're not hearing what he or she is saying.
It throws it off, like the whole vibe and
it's
stuff.
Almost like the library is a chill. Yeah. Library is a quiet spot. So
have you ever had any, like, I don't mean to cut you off. Have you ever had any, like, encounters, like, where, like, it just something bonkers just happened, like, during your poetries?
I know why that happens. I've been to shows where you try to have, let's say, for example, at Montreux. Let's say I try to do a poetry show at Montreux on the patio.
Right.
But I don't book the patio. So I got the average person going through, getting a drink, playing cornhole over there, talking over there in the corner.
Someone haven't seen each other in 10 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that is not a good place to do poetry because they didn't know unless you book the patio. Like say Montreux, I want to book the patio for 2 hours. Only my people come back there.
Yeah.
But for the venue to do that, you gotta have people coming through. They gotta have. I guess you gotta convince them that it's worth them shutting down their business in that area
to make more money. Basically,
yes. Is your event gonna be equal to what I would have made on a regular traffic? Yeah. And a lot of times it's not.
Right.
Because when I say I got a poetry show, I've never been to a poetry show. You might have. You know what? I'm just not into poetry.
How do you feel about that stigma, though? Like, how do you feel about, like, maybe do you think that, like, poetry slept on?
It is, for sure. Because we're programmed to the stuff that we read in high school and college that wasn't interesting. It was dry. Like, it wasn't relatable. A lot of the poetry you had to read in class wasn't relatable. Unless we talk about Shel Silverstein or some of those funny poems when you were younger, that was relatable to kids. But when you got to high school, college, we're reading English literature and stuff like that. So that's when you say poetry, people know certain poets that they have already heard, popular poets. But I'll break it down to people like this. Poetry, if you like music, you like poetry. Because really take away the music aspect, your favorite lyric. If you go to look up a Taylor Swift song or look up a Lil Wayne song, those lyrics are pretty much what I would be writing or any person would write. So if you take the music away from Taylor Swift, I've never studied her songs like that, but they're relatable. You're talking about life. She's talking about feelings. That's why a lot
in a poetic format.
Yeah, and you got to think about this. A song, there's rhyming parts to a song.
Yeah.
Every word doesn't rhyme, but there's a rhyme aspect to songs. More specifically for rap. Not so much Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift or let's say Adele, for example. Adele used to always have success when she was going through stuff. Or a lot of your favorite artists. Look, some of the best songs that that artist was depressed or
Break
had
up.
a lot of stuff going on, breakups and all, and they put it into the music, and we loved it. It's almost like that. Poetry, just like that. We're talking about life, talking about what's going on.
What's maybe maybe you could say one of yours, but what is some poetry or maybe even like just a book or something that could make people more drawn into doing poetry, if that makes sense?
I say watch.
Yeah.
Watch it on YouTube.
I didn't want to like say one particular thing because there's a bunch of ways to.
I think if you don't, 'cause people don't love to read these days, but if you go on YouTube and type in poetry, and then there's so many people posting videos and competition, what they call slam. Slam poetry is just like competition poetry. It's almost like battle rap, but we're doing poet. I don't have to be writing a poem about you, but let's say me and you are going against each other for a round, and then I get scored, you get scored. So that's kind of like when you hear slam, a poetry slam, people misuse the term. A poetry open mic is not a slam. A slam is a competition poetry style. So if you hear the word slam, I'm going to a poetry slam. Usually people just use that term wrong. It's a open mic or it's a poetry event. There's no competition. If I'm not scoring you, it's not a slam. So a poetry slam is when I go up, they have judges. It's usually a score of from 0 to 10. And then they kind of give you, it's almost like Olympics when you, somebody doing, let's say gymnastics.
Right.
That person's on the balance beam or they're doing the floor routine or they're doing the pole vault, like when they jump and they dismount and then they fall.
Right.
That score is going to be like a 6. One might say a 7.
But does it like take like obviously investment and money, but it takes real people who do poetry? How, like, I feel like that would be kind of hard to find the mindset of, like, you probably have to have money to reel in the people. You know what I mean?
It's almost like
because you could do that in Charleston, right?
It's almost like rock. I don't listen to rock, but there's a rock community.
There you go. Yeah, I tried to word it. Sorry if I'm trying to say the right word.
There's a rock. There's rock shows going on in Charleston. I don't know when particularly, but there are. I've seen shows or I know venues where if I want to hear some rock and roll, I go to this venue.
Yeah.
Poetry is kind of the same thing. If you know people, then
what's
you
some
know.
spots? Where in Charleston?
Like you said, Purple Buffalo. There's a place on Dorchester Road right now. The guy that owned Nodules, he has a place called Lola's.
Oh, wow. I didn't know
it's
that.
on Dorchester Road.
Did Blue Note do it? Blue Note did it for
Blue Note did it. Like,
shout out to
there's
Michael Brown.
certain venues that people tap into. Purple Buffalo is definitely for independent artists. Royal American, Rebel Taqueria right now.
Yeah, they're going crazy.
Those places that people, because you go to the venue and like you pitch it. Like, I want to have poetry at your event.
Right.
Or I want to have poetry at your restaurant or your bar.
Right.
But I realized if you don't secure this location, it's not going to be good for your poetry because the average, let's say my family's coming out for dinner. I'm not going to sit quietly and I got my kid right there that's making noise and they're on their tablet.
Yeah.
They didn't plan on a poetry show going on.
Right.
My shows, it's going to be a poetry show. You're not like, oh, I didn't know this was going on. When you come to my show, it's already predetermined. It's poetry going on here.
Real quick, though, I wanted to ask, because I'm going to go into more, I want to ask some other questions. Where is your next one and when is it? I know I've already asked kind of, but I want to make sure that we go there.
This is breaking news right now. I haven't even put this out. July 24th, Firefly. It's going to be, my poetry show is called The Light Show. So July 24th is a Thursday at Firefly.
Gotta make sure y'all tap into that and do promo for it.
Oh yeah,
crazy with it.
Hey, I am definitely spamming people. I spam. So it's like there's a fine line between being annoying and your promo. Like, but I don't want anybody to say, I didn't know this.
Yeah, you can't say.
If I would have known, I would have shown up. That's what everybody said. I was in your inbox. Check your messages. Check your spam.
It came in mine a few times, and I'm like, oh, is he coming directly at me, or am I doing that? I'm like, no, dude, that's just advertising.
Yeah,
that's the way you got to do it. Like,
some people are like, oh, you sending that to everybody.
Yeah.
Kind of, sort of, but I know my formula is, if you commented on a poem, if you've asked me about my next show,
right,
I'm going to directly, because you can do an event on Facebook. People don't check the events.
Yeah, I mean,
that.
there's so many that drop. Do you feel like social media is oversaturated, especially when it comes to like advertising yourself?
Oh,
Not even just like your
it's
event,
like a necessary evil though. You have to.
Yeah.
It's because like me and my friend of mine are talking about this too. The days of the flyers are almost dead. Like the paper flyers where you used to be out in the street handing them to people,
taping it on the
put
thing.
it on the light pole.
Yeah, right.
Put it on the bulletin board. Even back in the day when they would go to the cars and put it under the windshield wiper. Like, half the people going to probably throw it on the ground, which is kind of disheartening.
Yeah.
But I had to realize this. Like, you're taking a chance. And rejection is tough. But I'm going to try to make as many people aware of my event as possible. So I'll do 100 paper flyers.
Yeah.
And then I'll just strategically.
I think people sleep on themselves though. Like I feel like people think that like they'll do all this work but nobody's gonna even care, But you'd be really surprised who one person sees that thing. It could change their whole mindset, their whole, you'd be surprised.
It's taking a risk, man.
Yeah,
really.
it's just like you never know.
I'm a big Lil Russell fan, and he had a song where he said, "My first show, there was like 15 people there."
Yeah, backyard.
It was like 15 people there, and like you lose money.
Yeah.
So it's like I think the story is he had a venue, had everybody, his whole team was there. He lost money on that show.
Yeah.
Because you got to pay for the venue and.
Hey, it came back though. He's a goat. I've been following him heavy. I'm saying, no, I know. I was just
that mindset. Like some people would give up.
Yeah.
Like I did all of this. You think about all these events in Charleston. You spend weeks promoting it. You secure the venue. Maybe you had to pay for a DJ. Maybe you had to
just
pay the performer.
Yeah, radio. Yeah,
you
all
paid the
that.
performer. Let's say you paid a band to be there. You booked the venue, and then 10 people came, 15 people came, like way less than what you thought. That can make some people quit.
Right.
So
it does make people quit, actually.
Losing money is it's
a heartbreaking. Speaking of losing money, man, it's a crazy story. I had La Russell's manager message me, and I fell for it for a minute, and then I had to look into it more because they don't message you on your phone; they email you.
Right.
Because I've been trying to talk to La Russell for a while, and so if you ever see this, La Russell, I'm coming for you. But it's weird you brought him up. I love La Russell.
But he's one of the few people that
he goes hard.
Yeah, he literally he doesn't. I don't feel like he is accessible. A lot of these artists, they start when they're not accessible. Like if you message them, you might not be talking to them. I feel like La Russell would actually send you a message back.
Yeah, you would think. I've been emailing him like 4 times. That's the thing. Like, it's all just a matter of when, and I'm not worried about that.
And you get busy.
Yeah,
but sometimes like you appreciate the artist that's coming up.
Yeah,
that's still tapping in with their people. Like if you give them a cool, like, hey, I love your stuff, or just send a message to them. And they send you something back. Like,
Bam.
that's a big thing.
Yeah. But I do want to talk because I wanted to let this kind of simmer. I didn't want to, like, force into, like, different segments of your life and stuff like that. But you're an educator. And for some people that don't know, what do you teach? And, like, when did you start, like, I wouldn't say start teaching in general, but how did you start becoming a teacher?
So I went to college undecided. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And I just cutting grass with my dad, being out there doing that. Like, hey, shout out to the people that's working outside. It's 90-something degrees. Like, dude, I've been there.
Charleston.
I've been there, man. Like, I don't want to do that type of work. Yeah. And my dad came at to me like, you don't want to do this type of work your whole life. You want to do something, like, he's old school mentality. I don't want to come home dirty every day. Which, shout out to the people that get your hands dirty. It's
hard, man. It's really hard.
You don't want to come home, like, dead tired and then eat, take a shower, and do it again.
Yeah.
It's a repeating cycle. So he worked for basically educators, and just knowing like schedule wise is good. Weekends off, holidays off, summers off. Everybody, older people, when they talk about a good job, you got those good benefits. Like teaching is healthcare benefits. Like,
do you think that it should be better benefits?
No, I'm saying like that's a job you have a state job. Yeah. So health plan, when you become an adult, like that's something you think about. 401k, retirement, health benefits, whatever. So teachers, for example, just working with state jobs, I know a lot of my teacher friends, they carry their family on their, usually like the wife or the husband or, the significant other. Who's got the better healthcare package, they're going to pretty much carry the family. So the teachers are usually the ones that carry the family because it's the better deal. So, you know what? I started thinking about that. So the following fall or spring, I took like an introduction to education class, and I started doing pretty well in it.
Did you have to like pay and stuff or like?
No, but I'm saying it's part of the coursework.
Oh.
As a college student.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
my degree in college is elementary education.
Wow.
So my bachelor is in elementary education. So that allowed me to teach at that time kindergarten all the way through the 8th grade. Now it's kind of more segmented. Like you can teach kindergarten through 2nd, 3rd through 5th, 6th through 8th, and then 9th through 12th. Now it's like more specialized. Like when I first started, I graduated in 2004. So my elementary degree was kindergarten through 8th grade, even though I don't want to do lower grade.
What's some advice that you could give to anybody who's like not trying to dig into becoming a teacher, but just like be able to become or get a bachelor's in general? Like that's such a great achievement, dog. Like that's something really hard. Like even me, I want to become a gym teacher, and like I just don't know how to like go into that direction. So what's some advice you can give to somebody?
I would say start with the community college because you can take your general ed classes at Trident and then go to Carolina, go to a 4-year school because you can get your general because whatever your major is, you start with everybody in college has to take these classes. That usually takes 2 years. That's called a general ed requirement. Everybody's got to take the general math, your sciences, your histories, and then when you finish that, you go into your degree. So if your degree is business, you start taking business classes and stuff like that. Or since I'm an education major, I started getting into what you would, for PE is a little bit different. If you're doing elementary, even the PE teacher's got to take a variety of classes.
Right.
So basically, there's a class, for example, it'll be called elementary math, elementary
science.
Social. Yeah. So I would have a teacher teaching me how to prepare a lesson. And then I would go into a classroom. So I went to a school upstate. So they put us into the community school. Like we would have to have a certain amount of hours that you would sit in a teacher's class. And then you build your way up to.
Do you think that's a great way for teachers to become a teacher, or do you think there could be?
Yes,
do you think it's like a good process?
You have
though,
to do it.
Is there something you would change?
You gotta have that real world situation. It's almost like you can be a doctor, for example, working on dead bodies and all is good for whatever purpose, but you need to be in there. You need to be at the hospital. You need to be walking around with a doctor, getting your hands on experience. Hands-on experience is a must for teaching. Yeah. That's why we can't. Some jobs, you know what? Say I did finance, whatever. I was crunching numbers. I was doing Excel. I know the formulas. My first job, I just get hired because of my credentials. But doctors, teachers, I would even say probably lawyers, you can't just graduate from law school and I feel like
you're
get a job. You almost got to have, that's why built into an education degree, they call it your, what do they call it? Student teaching. So it was like 3 months that I had to go work with a teacher. That would be my class. Like my class is going to that elementary school, that middle school, that high school every day, going through the school day with this teacher. With him or her, planning lessons, working with the kids, and then eventually the teacher leaves me by myself.
Right.
So
did you get nervous when they did it the first time, or were you kind of just like... Yeah,
man. Like I was
because you're just with a bunch of
lucky. So they know you. It's not like a sub. You know, when you get to the sub, they're gonna try to like wow.
They roast you, bro. Right. I can't imagine.
The sub life is rough.
Yeah.
So you go there.
Flashbacks for that one.
You go with the teacher. they introduce you. You're spending weeks with that same
Yeah,
class.
like a month or something.
So
probably.
they know you.
Yeah.
And they know that this teacher already said, if y'all play around with my partner teacher right now, when I come back, it's going to be bad for you. So you set the groundwork. I've already been in this class for weeks. So when I get left alone, it's not like...
What's like the most challenging part about being an educator or just a teacher in general?
It's like, it's got to be a teamwork situation. I can only do so much at school. If the parent or the guardian is not helping on their end, then it's almost like I'm starting over every day. So my job, it's almost like, I'm going to put it like this. A dentist can only do so much when you go to the dentist's office. Mm-hmm. If you're not brushing your teeth or you're eating candy all the time and stuff, mm-hmm. And you come back in your next visit, your teeth are not going to be the way you're supposed to be. Mm-hmm. If you only read at school and you don't read at home, you're not improving. Your skill level is not improving.
And I feel
what I need from you is not going to be done. All right, for example, sports. Right. Big sports person. If you only practice your sport at practice, you're probably not going to be as good as you need to be. Because whatever you're struggling with in the games or in practices, you should be in the backyard working on that stuff. You should be back there. If you're struggling with free throws,
but some people just lack that motivation, like that support system, and I think that's where it comes into like you said with the with the parents and the kids situation. Like, yeah, I feel like sometimes parents it has to be like a balance, but some kids are just really like mentally going through it. I feel like
yeah, that's tough.
And so I was going to lead to the next question. Kind of is back then they didn't have social media, so the kids were kind of more able to listen to you more, if that makes sense. And I feel like now with social media, it like changes their whole like thinking process. Like they can do what they see on the social media in class, and if that makes sense. I don't know if that.
And it's all about this. Shout out to these VHS right here.
Yeah.
For example, Pulp Fiction right here. I was not allowed to watch those type of movies.
It's a good thing.
Unless you had somebody watching with you. Like maybe they screened it. My parents like, oh, you know what? You can't watch that.
Yeah.
Or there's certain places, certain scenes that you can't watch. So the parent, even social media aspect, you still got to be a parent at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. You can tell your kid you can't have a cell phone, or I'm going to monitor what you're on. So your kid can't watch what they want to watch if you're monitoring it.
Right.
If you let them, because like I got nephews, and sometimes it's easy to just let them hold your phone. Mm-hmm. I was like, it's so much, it's not filtered no more. Yeah. A kid can go on they can end up on any content just from scrolling. Because I like, when I'm on Instagram, or I can see all these like borderline, like it's getting crazy.
It is getting scary. And then now we got AI.
Right. And it's like, you're just scrolling, and you end up on something crazy. Like, I didn't even try to look for this. Imagine when a kid's on there.
Big thing in school now is like, do you think that's what kids struggle with now, is like cell phones and social media? Or what do you think is the
because my age group, they know they can't have their phone out like that. Middle school, high school, they have them more. And they're more daring, too. The little elementary school kids really not going to be in your face with it, like the disrespect. Mm-hmm. They're going to try to sneak and do it, but
when they get caught,
catch Middle schoolers and high school, like in between classes, they're starting to be a little more lenient. Like you can have your phone out in between classes. Or sometimes the teacher might let you get on your phone because like, all right, let's compromise a little bit. You do your work, and then you can be on your phone.
But you think that's like ruining kind of like, not the world, but just like the bringing up of kids.
I ruin it. It's like
I feel like it is, though,
it's a necessary evil.
Yeah.
Because the internet is a good tool. I'm not just saying cell phone, but the internet is a good tool. It can enhance education. It can make things better. Mm-hmm. You just have to monitor what the kids are doing. And screen time, you got to limit screen time. Like you can't have your kid being on their laptop or their tablet all the time. Mm-hmm. Go outside.
It's probably a big thing you probably hear a lot.
Oh, yeah, because like it's easy because you don't have to entertain your kids no more.
Yeah,
or you don't have to sit there and talk to your kids no more. You can just do your thing and then have them on their tablet.
Yeah. So, it's crazy. It's honestly scary.
I'm not gonna be one of these older people that's like technology ruined everything.
Yeah.
No, it's like it makes You can't live with it, can't live without it.
Yeah, I can.
Hey,
I hate social media,
dude,
man. If I did
in your lane, you have to have it.
I like, bro. My girl's about to get a flip phone, and I love you for that. But it's just crazy because I'm like, I wish I never started this because I would just get rid of it. I really do think it's ruining the kids, only because the creativity is getting there. Like, how many kids are going to become great poets from phones?
And
that sucks, bro.
If
you
don't ever give your kid a phone, they don't have it.
Yeah.
You have to buy your kid a phone. Yeah. So if you're saying the internet and social media is ruining your kid's childhood, it's because you're letting it.
There you go.
You have to buy it.
I'm not giving my kid an iPad to preoccupy them.
Right. You have to all right, you can only do this on the weekend.
Yeah.
During the week.
Not even that. I feel bad, but
you can't I feel you don't want to limit. You still gonna have to
let them be, because it's that generation pride. And
you gotta give it to them a little bit.
I don't want to have a kid just to prove it, you know.
You know, let's say your family's a healthy eating family.
Yeah.
Let the kid get dessert sometime. Yeah. Like you can't just cut it out completely.
I just feel like being on the brink of it. I'm a 98 baby, so I was like my first, I think maybe 4th grade, 3rd grade is when phones first dropped, like the chocolate drop. LG. Okay, you feel me? Like I was in there watching all of it just developing, and I'm seeing my brother just like he didn't talking to me no more.
Yeah, put it down.
My brother's 16, 17, and I'm over here 9, 10. So if my brother's not talking to me like how we used to play Super Smash Brothers on the GameCube type, he's not doing that no more.
And it's like this, man.
It's weird.
Sports was that was my social interaction with people. Mm-hmm. We would be playing games. We go on trips. Back when I was playing football on the bus, you might have your Walkman.
Yeah, right.
It wasn't no cell phone.
But y'all getting hyped, y'all chilling, vibing in the back.
I got the music on the road trip. Yeah. That was it. But you had to bond with your friends. Yeah. You got to talk to them.
But I do want to ask real quick, because we're getting kind of close to the time. I want to ask, what made you pick Mr. Enlightenment? Like, what made you be stand on business that I have to go by Mr. Enlightenment?
So, as an artist, you either go by your name, you can go by your real name, or some kind of abbreviation, like J. Cole. Jermaine Cole was all right, I was trying to figure out what poetry name I wanted to go by, because I didn't want to go by my real name, so I wanted to pick something else. And I'm a teacher, so that enlightenment is I'm getting information, or I'm being enlightened. All right, I said that, and I thought about that time when you get an idea. It's called a light bulb moment.
Yeah, ding. Yeah.
Light bulb moment, and I was like, you know what? I want to shine on stage. Mm-hmm. So Mr. Enlightenment is kind of combining all of that. Mm-hmm. So my day job is enlightening people, giving information, but I also want to shine on stage with my words.
Mm-hmm. What you do, bro? I'm not lying. I love watching your content pop up on my feed, bro. It's I unfollow everybody. So for your stuff to pop up on my Facebook and stuff like that is it's a good thing for me, because I love keeping the motivational, the positive, the creativiness, the being authentic. And I think that's what this world lacks, is being authentic and being genuine to people.
Yeah, I don't know social media persona, man. It's what you see.
But that's why I stopped following people, because I don't want to do fake love anymore. This right here.
And that's what it's you do what people want to see. Yeah. So you think people want to see that, so that's what you do.
Right. And that's I mean, that's where I was saying with social media, with the kids, man, I don't want to sound like I'm all that, bro, but I'm telling you right now, I really do feel like if phones were taken out of this world, and of course we need to communicate, but let's go back to the days back then. Let's write letters. We got mailboxes still for a reason. You know what I mean? Let's go back to how it was, and I feel like it just never is. Where can we find you on social media real quick?
Hey, social media, @Kilowatt Poet. So we all light bulb everything. So Kilowatt Poet on Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, PassTheLight.com, PASS. I had to go with DA because THE was taken.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
PassTheLight.com. I got merch out there.
Yeah, bro, you've been killing it. Real quick, did you have any merch drops, or what do you got going on?
Man, right now
you've been going ham with the merch.
Hustling out the trunk like Master P. But I got
no CDs.
Hey, listen, I was doing CD, but I realized the cars don't even have CD players no more, so I had to kind of adapt on that. But
Yeah,
I got
2025.
Don't forget, can't forget streaming. I got poetry albums out there. Spotify,
Wow,
Apple
that's
Music,
cool.
Mr. Enlightenment. Check me out. I got a couple
On
spoken word albums.
Spotify and
Apple Music, whatever.
Dang, that's
Tidal,
cool.
YouTube Music.
Dude, you should be promoting that more than anything, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I try to put it out there too.
Yeah, that's cool. I didn't know that.
So
dang, I'm already ready to get you back on, bro.
Download something, stream something, YouTube me.
Yeah.
I got my YouTube page, Kilowatt Poet, at Kilowatt Poet 1, I think it is. Just search Mr. Enlightenment on YouTube. I got a lot of content of me doing some poetry performances and just being on podcasts. Shout out to
You've been
Rise to
killing that
Elevate.
too, bro.
Hey, I'm just trying to be in the public eye. I want people to recognize the brand. It's all about brand recognition.
That's what you have to do. I agree, and I appreciate your time because you didn't even have to do this, man. I've been waiting for this one. If you guys don't know by now, dude, I can't believe this. I think this was longer than normal, so like I hope you guys enjoyed this. But I got the educator, the socialite, the goat, bro, of poetry. Like I want to say more. Like I feel like every time I do it, I want to say more and be more energetic. But remember, guys, stay true to yourself. The only way to achieve your dreams is through you. No one else is going to do it. You got to get up every single day and grind harder than me, Mr. Enlightenment, and this globe thingy. What are these called? I forgot.
Snow globes. Shout out to snow globes.
I almost forgot what these are. Love you guys. Subscribe, comment. I hope you guys enjoyed the interview. Peace.